Now on Coz Heals, it's time for the 13th Immortal, Mel Meninga. Get discounted prescriptions and save more money every day at Chemist Warehouse.
Yes, let's get some Origin into us, Coz. Good morning, Mel.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Yeah, going well, Mel. Well, we spoke last week in and around potential. You spoke about having some youth and some enthusiasm, a couple of bolters, and it certainly panned out that way. Are you happy with the squad that Queensland's put together?
Absolutely, Coz. This time of year, all us Queenslanders, we rally together, get behind the coach and the team, and we've got no criticisms whatsoever, mate. So I think it's a well-balanced footy team. Young Rob Toyer, well done to him.
Yeah.
He's a great young player. So if you're good enough, and you get picked. And so I think Billy's done a really good job, and I think Laurie's done a really good job as well. So it's all boded so well for a great series again, mate.
Hey, Mel, can you feel what it was like when you played your first Origin game? You played 18 games for Souths before you played your first. Rob Toyer, 10 games in the NRL.
Yeah, I did. I remember how excited I was. So I actually played in 79 before the first year of Origin, so very nervous. I tried my best, but didn't go all that well. Wasn't that confident, So, but Origin time, that first game, I remember vividly how great it was, how excited I was. Playing with the great Arthur Beetson and Rocket Reddy and all those sort of people who were playing for New South Wales and Australia prior. So, really enjoyed the experience. And what I remember, Heals, is what we ran onto the field. That first game, I just had a big smile on my face, mate. I think I played the whole 80 minutes with a smile on my face, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and so what I took out of that is not only your excitement, but the role of those senior-ish players and the standards they've got to really drive.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely. And how comfortable he feels in that environment. Obviously, he's going to be nervous. He's going to, at times he's going to doubt whether he's good enough, whether he's going to let his teammates down. All that sort of stuff's going to go through his mind, there's no doubt. So the leadership and the coaching group, really important for his preparation to get him ready for it mentally. So not physically, me will handle it physically. It is a different speed, there's no doubt about that. But if you're mentally fit and you believe that you belong in that environment, you'll do well.
Hey, Mel, changing tack towards New South Wales, who've picked their side. They won the series last year. They've made a couple of changes, however. No Jake Trbojevic, who was the skipper. No Jerome Luai, and also no Tommy Trbojevic. Are you surprised with the fact that they have changed a couple of those big names?
No, not really, Coz. I feel obviously Tommy's not at his best at the moment. He's carrying that knee injury, so I think that was sort of a lay down misère. Jake, he's suffering. The last month has been a bit tough on Jake, to be honest with you, around his HIA and his concussion. So I feel that the team's gone past Jake. He's been a great, warrior for. Yes. He was a great warrior for rugby league in general. So that didn't surprise me at all. And I guess with the Jerome Luai after last year, but then you got to pick. I think Nathan said it, the other day. There's three great players that Laurie's got to pick from. He can apply too. So, but then Queensland's done exactly the same thing, Coz, hasn't it? So they've got young Dearden at 14, which I think is a great addition to the team. So, no, it did surprise me a little bit, but Mitchell Moses, he's the incumbent 7, and you had to find a spot for him as well, I guess.
Yeah, just on that, Munster's back for Queensland alongside DCE. They've played together for long periods of time. This will be the first time, I think, that both Cleary and Moses will be playing together, both very dominant halves in their respective teams. How do you see this playing out? Because whilst you've got two superstar players, you do need a chief playmaker.
You do. And that's the challenge for New South Wales and Laurie and his coaching team, mate, So do we really care, do we, or what? This time of year, I'm not quite sure.
No, definitely not.
Now, I think what's important, I think your 9, I think Robson's really important. I think Isaiah Yeo is really important about how they combine with those two dominant characters. So I think Reece is going to play a really important role around making decisions which way the ball's going to go, because you don't want either or one of those guys to not be trying to be dominant. So he's got a big decision to make, and then young Watson comes onto the field as well. So they've got a bit of working out to do. It's a bit of a challenge for them.
We spoke last week, Mal, and a week's a long time in rugby league. A lot of things can happen, as we've seen over the course of the last 7 days. The head coaching job for Perth, have you put together your support crew yet?
Mate, I haven't gone past the conversation with the game.
Oh,
so we've still got to. Well, I did an interview in the back end of last week, so I'm not quite sure where it's all heading at the moment. So they've got some big decisions to make sooner rather than later. So at this stage, in the back of my mind, it's something that I talked about last week, that it's a good legacy piece. It's something that I want to do. So we'll just see what happens. Transpires in the next, hopefully, next short period of time.
Someone else might have bought it. I've been checking Domain, and there's a big house that was sold at City Beach in Perth. I thought it was you, Mel.
Hey, Heals, the only one that's got a big house over there, mate, was probably you, mate.
Yes, Gilly, Adam Gilchrist. Actually, I think Gilly might own City Beach.
You got a huge endorsement from Wayne Bennett. I mean, yourself and Wayne, you haven't seen eye to eye at different stages, but both very respect each other. He gave you a huge endorsement to potentially get that role over there. So good luck, mate. As we said, you'll be finding out in the next I'd expect the next week or so. I mean, that's given by what PVL had said.
I think, and I appreciate that, Coz, and appreciate Wayne's support, obviously. But they've got to make a decision sooner rather than later, because, like you said, the time frame to get a team up and going over there is pretty short.
It's hard to make comment without being inside the four walls, but the Brisbane Broncos, mate, they in a bit of a form slump at the moment, lost to the Dragons on the weekend, but where do you see it going wrong for them?
It's hard to put a finger on it, isn't it? So, again, on the weekend, I seen the Dragons, game, of course, and they're just those moments. So they're just not winning those moments, and it's probably through effort, isn't it? It's probably through all those small things we all talk about all the time. They go unnoticed. They're not doing well at the moment with that. So it's trying to change that mindset again, isn't it? So it's trying to, that special effort that needs to happen at special moments, and I just don't think they're doing it at the moment. They're sort of relying on their talent more so, and then Mad's got a hard edge to them. They just probably haven't quite got that hard edge just yet.
Or is it creativity? They don't seem to be able to create a killer blow when they're ahead.
Well, if that's that's what I mean. Like it's like a confidence thing. You sort of get into a game, you don't want to make errors. So you need. But the only way you get your confidence back is just doing all that hard stuff, all those little things really, really well. Special everyone. So it's 17 players. It's not really one player. It's the team. You build your game. You kick off, and you build your game through all those things that you want. You kick, chase, and get into the tackles. You support play. All those sort of things are so important, and you build it from there. So you grow your confidence from not sort of strangling the opposition. That's how you get your confidence, and they're not quite doing it at the moment. So they're not far away. It's just that just got to be prepared, each man to just do those special efforts right from the beginning of the game and just keep it going.
As a text come through from Dave at Cannon Hill, Mal, he said on the 8th of July this year, the 45th anniversary of Origin 1 across both the original teams, you were the only player with Pacific Island heritage. Do you feel pride seeing how many Pacific Islander heritage following in the footsteps of being selected for both Origin and also in the NRL?
Yeah, that's a good observation. I mean, I haven't even thought about those sort of things. I knew it was my 20th birthday, and I remember the celebrations afterwards, so I remember that vividly. So that was quite fun. But the birth of the Pacific Islanders is tremendous. It's getting to a stage now. impinging on my Kangaroos, Coz. So they're making decisions to go play for their ancestral nation. So it is good. I mean, they're well suited. The Pacific Islands are well suited to the game of rugby league. They're big, they're physical.
Yeah.
It's the way the game's going, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly is. I think there's a percentage. I think it's nearly up over 55% of the game is.
It's 52% Pacific Islanders. That you throw the Kiwis in, and then the women's space that's 54%.
Okay.
So, I mean they are dominating the competition. So, but I mean most of them obviously have been born in Australia or come to Australia at early ages. So you can't begrudge them playing State of Origin.
Now, Mel, it's been dominating headlines all throughout the show, callers and texts, in and around Reece Walsh. I'm not sure if you've seen the TikTok video of him punching his best mate has gone viral. What?
No, I haven't seen. I haven't got TikTok.
Okay, well, it's all over social media and the news at the moment. So there's a video of Reece Walsh. He's got a boxing glove on one hand, punches his mate, knocks him off the couch, that he posted on his social media and his TikTok. What's your thoughts on this, mate?
Well, social media is it a nemesis or is it a good thing in our society? I'm not quite sure. I'm an old fella. I'm not quite sure around the social media platform. I'm not on it myself. I can imagine if I was on it, how much trolling you would get. So. But then, I know how important it is to the younger generation and how important it is to them for, to build their profiles, to build their brand, So, but I guess there's a way you do it, though, isn't it? There's a way that, from a brand recognition point of view, you've got to be known for something, don't you? You've got to have a DNA, and you've got to have a reputation for something. You don't want a reputation for being silly. And I guess you don't want to bring yourself into disrepute. You don't want to bring the game and the club into disrepute. So you try to stay away from all those silly things that harms your brand, or it allows opinion from different sectors of our community and society. So it's dependent on who you want to be, I think, Coz.
And he's been able to explain. He's been able to explain it pretty well this morning. He is a little bit regretful that the Broncos are launching a mental health jersey today. Origin week is on, and here's everyone talking about silly old me. So he has got the sense within him, that's for sure. What about DCE, Mel?
Yeah, I mean,
are you okay with DCE answering those questions on day one of the Origin camp about his personal contract, and there'll be no decision till after Origin?
Well, it keeps him in the news, doesn't it? So again, the timing of it all is baffling, I would suggest to you. He's obviously going to keep on playing, and that's what it tells us. So, he's made himself available for Queensland. So, DCE's a really experienced campaigner. I don't think it's going to affect the team at all, to be honest with you. And the media keep on asking him the questions, so he's sort of narrowing it down for everyone in the media and everybody that's got an interest in where he does go. So, I don't think it's going to, impinge on any of the preparation. It's just that, what DCE, the information that DCE wants to, give the media, and it just keeps it all bubble along nicely for him.
Hey, Mel.
Mel, I think it may be the case. You may differ, but text comes through here from 188. He says, hey, boys, do you think there will be a late change Wednesday night with both Fermor to start and Cotter to the impact a bit later in the game?
I think there'll be changes to both sides, because I feel, as you know, if you're making your debut, sitting on the bench is very nervous. You get very nervous. So, and it's your first opportunity to play Origin. Not quite sure. So sometimes it's better just jump into the fire, run on, and get stuck into it. So it may see a change with Bo coming into the back row, and Ruben, who's a lot more experienced, going to the bench, and he can play a number of positions. I think they'll start Max King as well, New South Wales, and put Mitch Barnett on the bench. That's my feelings. Like, you've been there. Just get in there and start well and get stuck into it.
Yeah, the Max King selection, I made mention the other day, is a very Queensland-like selection for the Blues. I mean, that Terrell May's been dominating headlines south of the border. He should have been in the side, but everything that Max King does for the Bulldogs is based on effort, repetition, hard work, competing, which is exactly what you need in the big arena. Is that not right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And Max, he exemplifies that. And, he's, the Dogs are on top of the ladder. I think the Dogs got to get rewarded for the way they play as well. So in Origin, you're exactly right. It's all around those little effort areas. But it's not just every now and again, is it? Because it's every play, every play is an effort, So, Max will do really well in this arena for sure.
We'll talk with a lot of goosebumps next Wednesday in more detail about what's needed to do for Queensland. But have you got two things they must do's to have a successful match next Wednesday?
We're talking about Queensland, hopefully.
Of course.
Yep. So, I think, Game 3 last year, we cast our mind back to Game 3 last year, and it was probably one of the better Origin games I've ever seen. And it was just based on effort.
Yes.
Based on effort, So both teams kept on coming at each other. One team would get on top, have momentum. The other team will stop that momentum and get back again and regain that momentum. So that's what Origin's all about. So again, it comes down to character, and it comes down to the willingness to do all those little things right. There's so much talent in both sides that an individual will come up with a special play, and that's what happened in New South Wales. Queensland, the ball was on the ground, and Queensland didn't defend that ball on the ground, and Luai got in the clear to break the deadlock. Then Mitchell Mose off the back of that. So it'll come down to some special individuals, and that's where the Munsters and the Pongers and those type of players, the Harry Grants, come into play. But every man's got to do their job, and they've got to do it really well, and they've got to keep going for 80 minutes, mate. So that's the test for all players in Origin, is that who can go the longest with that strong, aggressive mindset. And, the special players will come up with the players that will win you the game.
Yeah, you certainly do. You've got to be prepared to pay that price, both mentally and physically. We better have a quick look at round 11 of the competition coming up. Obviously, there's a lot of teams who have got buys and welcome buys at that. But the Bulldogs take on the Dolphins. Bulldogs without a host of players. But the Dolphins, they'd probably be right up for this one.
Oh, I think so, Coz. I think... the Dogs, they just keep on that man-up mentality, next man-up mentality. They just keep on performing, So Max King's obviously not there. Their captain, which I think is a big loss. Their captain's, a great player, one of the best players in the comp. And the Dolphins have got a really good opportunity here, obviously without Hammer, but, they got pretty able replacements. So, I'm kind of hoping the Dolphins might get home in this one.
The revitalised Eels, they'll be without Mitch Moses, but how good's Jack Williams going at front row?
Well, the old small forward at the moment, Eels, so, there's a bit of change of fortune. Wayne obviously went with Kolomatangi and Jai Arrow, so the small forwards, that seem to be taken over because the speed of the game is increased again this year, I feel, so... it's an interesting one. The Eels are going great, but both Manly and the Eels are out there influential 7, so it's going to be interesting, and maybe the Eels at home.
Yeah, Tommy Trbojevic will take his place for the Sea Eagles, so that could be a game where he says, hey, have a look at me, don't forget me type style. So the Panthers taking on the Knights. Oh, boy, the Knights, they have been in a spot of bother since Magic Round. How do you see this one?
Yeah. Well, the Panthers, this is the Knights' best opportunity, isn't it? Now, the Panthers are 5 men down, some of their real key players. And, you still look through the Panthers side, they've still got a fair side.
Yeah.
No
the
Ponga,
Knights, if
no
anything,
best.
obviously with that talent, no Ponga. So, God, Panthers at home, mate.
Roosters are reshuffling everywhere, and Cronulla have hardly had to make any moves.
yeah, you got to favour the Sharks here, Hills. So they've got no representation in the. I don't know whether they do it on purpose. I'm not quite sure. Around Nico, obviously, is a great player. But most of their key guys, obviously, all there. So you got to favour the Sharks over the Roosters, who are they got 5 in State of Origin.
Yes, and the Warriors back home. They've been on the road for a little bit, taking on the in-form Canberra Raiders.
Go the Raiders.
Big game, Sunday half. My goodness.
Raiders. Yeah. No, it's a tough one. It'll be a great game. Both teams are in form. The Warriors are buzzing, full house again. The Wars are killing it, particularly back home. Yeah. And I think the Raiders are up for it. They're missing Hudson Young this week, but I'm feeling Corey Horsburgh, vendetta. He didn't get picked in Origin, so I think he'll have a big game.
He loves proving himself, doesn't he?
He does. He's a good man, Big Red, so he loves Origin, so he'll be totally disappointed that he's not there, but, he's got opportunities in 2 and 3.
Every team should have a big
Mal,
red.
big weekend, big week. It's huge to have you with us on Wednesdays. We look forward to next Wednesday in preparation for the night time. Thanks once again, mate.
Thanks, guys. Have a good week.